So we did the past perfect, which is like the present perfect, but instead of have, we write had. The rest is the same. Vale? Vàrem fer el past perfect, que és igual que el present perfect, però en el passat, és el passat del passat. I posam, en lloc de have, had a totes les persones. She had work, I had worked, we had played, etc. I posam ed si és irregular i la tercera columna si són irregulars, d'acord? She had worked in school, she had not been in England, had she been in England. Vàrem fer aquest. They had had already the exam 5 years before. I had had breakfast before you arrived. We had left before the terrorist attack. It had started to rain. They had taken the ship to Valencia. She hadn't slept very well. You had already arrived at the cinema. He had explained the solution. Yeah? Had, hadn't or had not, and had. We did. Vàrem fer aquest quiz tots junts, perquè això eren diferents passats, d'acord? Eren diferents passats i el vàrem fer, però vamos, és un test tipus els vostres exàmens, el que només eren 10 frases de passat, d'acord? I vàrem fer this one, past perfect. Bé, un munt d'exercicis de past perfect. Vàrem fer aquest, mixed exercise. When I arrived at the restaurant, Victoria had already ordered. He noticed that Peter had not or hadn't painted. Before Emma laid the table, she had a talk. She asked me if I had learned a few words. There were no sausages. The dog had eaten them. It hadn't rained. I hadn't read. Linda had never been. She told me that Frank hadn't tidied. And had Jack fed? Here, only affirmative? Yeah. She had lived. We had eaten. He had phoned. They had packed. His father had told him. The children had been. The teacher had collected. Had finished. Her brother had broken. All friends had arrived. Negatives. The driver hadn't stopped or had not stopped. The budgie flew away because Jim hadn't closed or had not closed. Frank hadn't painted. Eric hadn't invited. I hadn't seen. He told me that he hadn't spoken to his brother. Lisa hadn't read. The Smiths hadn't bought. I hadn't looked. And we hadn't practiced. And questions. Had they read? Had the girl learned? Had they rung? What had Lucy done? Had Walter updated? What had she found? What had Tim cut the onions? Had you surfed there before? Had Peggy talked to Lisa? Had you ever been to London? Yeah. I told you about this website. Us vaig contar que aquesta web és molt bona per fer exercicis. De vegades vos sortirà en alemany, a la millor si la cercau a Google, vos sortirà en alemany, però si li doneu aquí, surt en anglès. I teniu explicacions i exercicis, i crec que vos vaig dir, si no, que simple present, simple past, present perfect, això ho hem fet, past perfect, present progressive i past progressive, que també ho hem fet, això és els continus, d'acord? Progressive aquí és els continus. Però bé, teniu molt de tipus d'exercicis que, a més, se corregeixen tots sols. És a dir, aquests els hem fet tots, però podeu, a veure les solucions, check, si ho heu fet. I si no, si li doneu a show answers, vos surten les respostes directament. El podeu repetir, el podeu descol·locar, etc. And that's everything we did last week. We only did past perfect. I remind you, she had worked, she had played, she had understood, she had talked, she had seen, she had been. Negative, she hadn't been, she hadn't played, she hadn't talked, She hadn't told. Interrogative. Had she played? Had she been? Had she talked? Had she seen? D'acord? Subjecte. Had i o. Ed, o, tercera columna. Es participi de la tercera columna. And that's it. That's everything we did. So see you today. Bye.